Let's return now to our top story, and we are joined by Carlos Cardenas. He is the head of IHS Markit's America's Risk Team. Thanks so much for speaking to us. In our report earlier, we heard some of the clear frustration among Mexicans, unhappy with their economic conditions there. Obrador has promised to fix all of that. Can he deliver?
Well, it depends on the sector, on the areas that he's actually promising change. Actually, it was a huge win, 53%, more than 24% advantage over his closest rival. On the issue of corruption, which has been his main campaign promise, it's going to be tough because corruption is ingrained in the whole of the Mexican institutions, and that change will take years. The most immediate action that he will take is that he will actually try to audit infrastructure and energy contracts. And that will be one of the first things that he will do when he is sworn in on 1st of December 2018.
Okay, is that good for the economy?
It depends on the sector again. I think that the sector where most of the nervousness in the business community is at the moment is the energy sector. Positive news is that his party couldn't get 2/3 in Congress, which is the threshold that was required for him to reverse the pro-market constitutional reforms, in particularly the energy reform. Having said that, he will try to slow down that reform, and that will hurt the economy if it deters foreign direct investment. On the other hand, there's a big uncertainty over NAFTA and his relationship with Donald Trump. If we have a situation in which Donald Trump starts criticizing Mexico on trade, immigration, and drugs, and Obrador starts replying aggressively as well, this will undermine trade talks. And the issue of NAFTA, it's structural. 80% of Mexico's exports go to the U.S., and if that doesn't work, if there's no agreement and the U.S. withdraws, we will have the Mexican economy suffering economically, the peso depreciating, and inflation going up, and that's what's really going to affect the economy.
Okay, it's extremely complicated, actually, what he has set out to do. But you said fighting corruption enough to make the real changes that he hopes to make will take years. Will Mexicans have the patience to wait for those outcomes?
I mean, usually what you see when a new president comes into power, and especially when a president wins so big like this one, is that the electorate gives them some time to fix the situation. It is highly likely that as soon as he's elected, he's going to try to audit these contracts in the sectors that I mentioned, and he's going to try to make an example of politicians that are in the current government, either by initiating investigations against them or by looking into contracts that they awarded into different sectors. Over the long term, one of the strategies that Obrador has said to try to keep his popularity up is actually he's trying to propose a referendum in the middle of his term to ask the population whether they would still support him or not. Very early stages, that's not going there yet, but I mean, going back to the beginning, it takes decades to fix a situation like that. They first have to pass legislation, and that legislation is there, but they have to name a prosecutor for corruption, and there's a lot of need of change to be done at the institutional level with states and institutions across the whole country.
Okay, Carlos Cardenas joining us there. Thank you so much for that.